Good day, viewers, and welcome to today's Sport Wrap Show. I'm your host, Ashwin Berry, here to unpack the very latest sports news. With that, let's dive straight into the hit list. Now, 6 Namibian boxers and 3 officials will be traveling to Italy for the first boxing qualifiers for the Paris Olympics. This announcement was made by Johan Smit, the Secretary General of the Namibia National Olympic Committee. Now, the team is scheduled to depart on February the 28th and return on March the 13th. The 6 boxers, namely Petrus Festus, Jonas Junius Jonas, Johannes Trofimus, Gerbad Ipinge, Triagen Tembelo, and Eliphas Shailemo, have only 2 weeks to prepare for the trip. They will be accompanied by coach Albertus Tamaseb and team manager Titus Munda Joseph. Additionally, the team has secured nutrition sponsorship from Herman Maritz, who is the managing director of DEO Pharma. Maritz had previously sponsored the Namibian team that participated in the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham. All the best to the lads. Zoom In is up next.
From the day you were born and welcomed until your pensioner years on this earth, your life is filled with changes and phases. What mattered the most at age 10 may be an unknown memory at 25. The heartbreak at 16 may be replaced with wedding bells at 27. The degree you've always wanted or starting your career business may come true at age 30. And the dream to own your own home may come to realization at age 50. Whatever stage you find yourself in, whatever matters right now, Standard Bank has what you need to bank like you. Choose your own path. Choose endless possibilities. Standard Bank, it can be.
The Tankwa Trek is considered South Africa's most prestigious 4-day mountain bike tour held in the Western Cape. Namibia had a strong presence in it, with Alex Miller being in the winning men's team along with South Africa's Matt Beers. In the women's race, Ferralusa made the podium in 3rd place with Danielle Stradom as her teammate. Now, an excellent video summary of the event was put out by the organizers, Dryland Event Management, which for the most part is nothing short of a Hollywood quality production in capturing the natural beauty in which the fierce riding took place. Enjoy.
It's one of the first UCI multi-day stage races of the year. In the heat of summer, it takes place on the rough, unforgiving, rocky terrain of the Koa-Bokkerveld and Witzenberg Mountains, not far from Ceres in the Western Cape. It's the Momentum Health Tankwa Trek, presented by Biogen. South Africa's best marathon racing teams are all there, as are a good selection of international teams. While the race could not be won on the prologue, this was the chance to lay down a marker ahead of day 2. The team all others were weary of was the Toyota Specialized pair of Matt Beers and Alex Miller, the national marathon champions of South Africa and Namibia respectively, and they held nothing back.
I mean, it's always nice if we can get a gap on on this short stage. We didn't really plan to get a gap that early because it's quite long to keep it, but yeah, the opportunity came, so we took it. Yeah, obviously we know this stage quite well. Tomorrow is really hard, it's really rough, and but yeah, I think we both know it really well, and the pass coming back, into this valley is always it's kind of where the race is going to go. So yeah, I think we quite confident, and but yeah, a lot can happen out there, so we'll definitely have to keep it going.
The rest were chasing the leaders, Beers and Miller, who joined the Toyota Specialized setup this year. The KMC Ridley team of Martins Blooms and Gunnar Holmgren had to work their way through the field and force themselves into the podium reckoning. A stacked women's elite field included the gold and silver medalists from last year's Marathon World Championships, Austrian Mona Mittenwaldner and South African champion Candice Lill.
Sure, it was always going to be a really fast stage. I think we had a super fast time, like an hour or so. So the beginning was quite open, all the teams stayed together, nobody really wanted to do anything, and then once we got to the first single track I went to the front, but Mona was a few wheels back, so it kind of like neutralized everything, and I think I just started making the pace a little bit hard so that hopefully people's legs would be sore towards the end. And then yeah, probably about 15 to 20k, somewhere around there, Mona and I had a small gap, and she looked at me and I looked at her, and she said, let's go, and then off we went, and basically yeah, it was full gas to the line. It was such a small gap, so it was really like intense racing.
And it was intense all the way through the field on a hot late afternoon in the Koa-Bokkeveld. Beers and Millard opened a small but significant gap on their rivals. Millard just making sure they were not being caught. And they powered onto the lush lawns of Kaleo to claim the win in 51 minutes and 53 seconds. Blooms and Holmgren showed the benefits of their South African training camp. They took second place 36 seconds back. The fight for third was tight. Paigo, Eurosteel and Buka Pro Cycling and the Bulls heroes were all together as they charged towards the finish. And Peter de Toy and Jaden Turler, Paigo Eurosteel, managed to outsprint the others and take third spot on the podium. Mittenwaldner in the Marathon World Champions jersey and Lille were relentless as they pushed hard for every second's advantage. The Cannondale Factory racing pair flew home in an hour and 1 minute. Just 65 seconds behind them were the untested combination of Danielle Stradom and Vera Loza, the Namibian champion, racing for Efficient Infinity Insure, who in turn were 39 seconds clear of the KMC Ridley pair of Jana Balamoina and Janneke Loiv. Comfortable night's rest at Kaleo, a clear but thankfully cool morning welcomed the riders ahead of what was the first marathon stage. Serious faces reflecting the challenge ahead. 88 kilometres and 1,700 metres of climbing through the remote and rough Vitsenberg Valley. With experienced Martins Blooms, it could have been better. He and Holmgren lost time to a puncture.
Yeah, this was really a tough stage. I'm pretty glad that the weather was pretty good for us and it was not too hot as it was last year, but I knew this is really a tough stage with a tough climb. Yeah, stage was pretty fast. Start was actually already with pretty high pace and the group was splitting into pieces. Yeah, it was, I don't know if it was a puncture or slow or I just lost some air, but yeah, it was a bit soft tire, so it was better to stop in this case instead of just pushing on the rocky downhill.
The KMC Ridley pair had to ride hard back through the field for a second day in a row. The drop off the plateau is a special piece of trail. The women's leaders, Mittenwaldner and Lille, in the pink First Ascent jerseys, were the marked team. Balamoina and Loiv were keen to pull back time on them as they led in the early stages. Once the climbing began though, Lille and Mittenwaldner went to the front. That had the effect of separating the group with just the top three teams in the picture: Cannondale Factory Racing, KMC Ridley and Efficient Infinity Insure. Back with the men, and the leaders in yellow had company in the form of Marco Hubert and Wessel Buerter of Imbuka Pro Cycling.
Yes, I mean Marco and Wessel were strong today, but I knew they would try to put the pressure on, and yeah, they did that obviously, and they did quite a good job. And then coming back up the old Gator pass, I think we tried to get rid of them, but they still stuck. And then coming on the cement single track, we just kept the pressure on, and I knew I'd be able to recover again. And then we hit them again on the last climb out of there, and we got a gap, and then it was a tailwind from there. So yeah, it was very, very fast coming back, and happy with how it went.
Hubert and Buerter had started the day just under 2 minutes off the race leaders in fifth. They're tenacious and hung with the Toyota Specialized team for as long as they possibly could. The second group was being led by French champion Axel Rudel Cortina of Bulls Mavericks, with KMC and Paiger in tow, as well as his partner Simon Schneller.
Yeah, it was a super hard day. Yesterday we didn't have such a good day, and yeah, we were hoping for more, so we figured we'll just sort of try ride our pace, make it hard from the start. did that, and in the end it was us with the Toyota Specialized guys. But yeah, last 10 Ks, Matt went to the front and absolutely smashed the pedals. We missed the train, and yeah, we went, but now we're on the podium. So yeah, that was our goal for today. So box checked, and 2 more days to go. Tomorrow's a big day.
The second stage win for Beers and Miller in 3 hours 21 minutes. The brave Mbuka pair were 1 minute and 19 back. KMC lost just over 3 minutes. They were third. In the women's race, another good day for Lil and Mittenwaldner.
Everyone told me that Tankwa Trek is so hot, so I'm still waiting for the proper heat. But no, it was still a hard race. I mean, the pace was not so high the first 2 hours. I think everyone was like waiting. Candice and me controlled the race, I would say, from the beginning, and we then just said after 48 Ks, or once the big climb started, we go now, and we just attacked and we brought it to the line.
In 4 hours and 5 minutes. Bellemoyne and Loif was second, 5 minutes back, and Stradom and Lossa third, a further 2 minutes adrift. Another perfect dawn over the Koa-Bokkeveld heralded the Queen stage. 98 kilometers and 2,200 meters of climbing with the infamous Merino Monster lying in wait. Many of the riders knew what they were in for. Some, though, were on a voyage of discovery, like Bull's Leon Kaiser.
Yeah, so it's my first time here in South Africa, and also the first stage race. Normally I race XCO, now preparing for the Olympics. But I think if you ride for Team Bulls, you have to come to South Africa and race a stage race. And I think I fell in love with the country and stage racing already. So far I have a lot of fun. Also, it's the first time racing together with Urs, and yeah, day by day we're getting better to race better with each other. I think today we had a good position right from the start, and then had a gap after the first downhill, and then yeah, made it a good race, and in the end it worked with the podium.
For the second day running, Joubert of Imbuko took the challenge to the race leaders. The Bulls heroes were in the mix all day. Urusuba, the ideal partner for the inexperienced stage racer Kaiser. They charged through the feed zone in the Witzenberg Valley cold storage. The women's race was also a 3-team tussle. Cannondale Factory Racing, KMC Ridley and Efficient Infinity Insure were together for most of the first half of the stage. All weary of the havoc the Merino Monster can wreak if you go too hard early on. The experience and power of Toyota Specialized was impressive on the Queen stage, and try as they might, Mbuko just could not break them.
Yeah, I know they're world class. Yeah, there's 1 or 2 things Tankwa has shown us that we still need to work on, like training wise and stuff. But yeah, that's why we came to this event. This event tests you, like body and bikes. Our bikes have been perfect. But yeah, to keep up with Alex and Matt, yeah, there's still 1 or 2%. But yeah, today was a monster day, Queen stage, and Merino was super fast. I think Matt took the comp, and we were just behind them. Luckily, it started flattening out, and the downhill came. We chased back, and then Matt threw a flyer the last 5 Ks, and I just, yeah, thought 5 Ks to go, might as well go all in.
Aggressive Marco Joubert, whose bold and brave racing lit up the stage as he and Wessel Boerter tried to stay on the Miller Beers Express train. In the end, it was a hat-trick of stage wins for Toyota Specialized. They're 4 hours and 44 seconds, just 10 seconds faster than an exhausted Joubert and Boerter in second. Bulls heroes were 90 seconds back in third. The Merino Monster was decisive in the women's race. Aggressive climbing of Bellemoyne and Loif put the race-leading Cannondale Factory Racing pair under some pressure as the KMC team looked to open a gap to the third-place team of Lossa and Stradom.
It's nice to stay with them all this climb, because we had a really small gap from like short girls, so we know that we must work, and after climbing we stay together also on the descent, and then we know, okay, just like less than 20 kilometers to the finish, we know that it's mostly like flat parts, and we must to to work on the front because they have a big gap, so they're not thinking about to lose the victory, but we know that we must work hard because of the third place close by.
A first stage win for the KMC pair, while Lil and Mittenwalder lost just 5 seconds. With 2 massive days behind them, the final stage was relatively easy at 57 kilometres and 920 metres of climbing. It was short and sharp, so a spell on the rollers ahead of the start was in order for the Mbuko pair. The GC standings had Hubert Buerta 3 minutes and 24 seconds behind Toyota Specialized and nearly 6 minutes ahead of the Bulls Heroes. Predictably, the pace was searing from the start. The GC chasers doing the work while the yellow jerseys sat in the pack. That tactic didn't last too long. Keen for another stage win, Beers lit the touch paper and blasted off. Miller and the KMC pair of Blooms and Holmgren hung on as Beers ripped into the stage.
Yeah, I never started super hard today. Our plan was to make it hard as well, but I think that was everybody's plan. And yeah, my legs were suffering a bit the first 20 Ks today, so yeah, I really had to dig deep. And yeah, we were like in the second group, and then luckily Marku was riding strong today, and I got better the second half, and we almost got back to the front guys. But yeah, third on the stage, but still kept our second overall, so yeah, happy to end the race like that. We would have liked to have a better prologue, but all the long stages, I think we can be super happy with that. The power was there in the long climbs, and yeah, me and Marco had fun racing, and that's the main thing.
They were in a class of their own. KMC hanging on for all they were worth as Toyota Specialized turned on the turbos. Keeping up on the flats was tough, but the sandy single track was some high-risk game time for Martins Blooms. That's the result of the pressure to try and maintain the insanely high pace being set on the front. The Toyota Specialized team were faultless all week. Beers is the strongest marathon rider in South Africa, and pairing him with the young Namibian Miller was a masterstroke.
I think it's my 4th one so far. Doing it with Matt this year, of course, is a big privilege. I've been able to learn a lot from him, and yeah, I mean, he's such an experienced guy, so yeah, very great to be able to pull off the win. It's been a good event, and I'd just like to say thank you to Momentum and Dryland for putting together an amazing event like they normally do though.
To their credit, the Latvian Blooms and Canadian Holmgren fought tooth and nail to stay with the leaders. And it was the KMC Ridley pair who took the stage win, while Beers and Miller settled for second and the overall title. And a sticky, bubbly shower.
Yeah, I think today being a nice short stage with a lot of single track, I really believe that the best way to race that is from the front and to try and control the race. So, and also to avoid mistakes, obviously, like when there's the sun in your face and light and dust, things can happen pretty easily. So we just decided to control from the front from the beginning, and yeah, eventually there was a moment where it snapped.
That calculated, strategic approach paid rich dividends for Mona Mittenwalder and Candice Lil. The margin of victory over KMC Ridley was 8 minutes and 55 seconds, with Lawson and Stradum an impressive third in their first race together.
All right, it's time for us to get into Sportify. 15-year-old Adin Klassen and Arin Klassen have joined Tuks Sport Academy FC in South Africa, this after impressing during week-long trials. The week-long selection process was tough and rigorous, but the boys persevered and both were accepted into the prestigious Tuks Sport High School, where they are pursuing their grade 10 while furthering their football careers. And this was according to their mother, Tanya. Adin and Arin Klassen are twins, born in Windhoek on 15 April 2008. Their football journey started with Tuks Academy in 2015 at the tender age of 7 years. They played for Tuks until 2017, when they moved to Tuks Sport Academy DTS. And it was at DTS where their football started taking form under the guidance of coaches Ivan, Roy, TK and Mabasa. After the 5 years at DTS, they won numerous local tournaments and the Hopsol Youth Soccer League Under-12 title in 2020. In 2023, they moved to Athletic Club Football Academy. They were further molded under the guidance of coach Ricky Averia and his coaching team. We certainly hope we can see you boys in the next AFCON wearing those Brave Warriors colors. From me, Ashwin Berry, I'm going to be saying goodbye and leaving you in the very capable hands of Ari Hohad as he takes us globe-trotting. Cheers.
Your life could change at any second, but you'll never know until you take the chance. With sports betting, number games, and online casino gambling, JSB is your best bet. Will you be Namibia's next instant millionaire? Place your bets easily online at jsbsports.bet or at any JSB location nationwide. We'll take you to the action anywhere, anytime. JSB, where the next instant millionaires come to play. Strictly no under 18s. JSB supports responsible gambling. Winners know when to stop.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news first from the WTA, the Women's Tour. It is the Qatar Open that's being played at the moment, and it's Leylah Fernandez of Canada that beat Zheng Qinwen of China. She will play the number 3 seed Elena Rybakina in the quarterfinals. Also through to the quarterfinals is Iga Swiatek, the number 1 seed in the tournament. She's from Poland. She beat Ekaterina Alexandrova and she beat her by 6-1 and 6-4. She will now play against Victoria Azarenka, and Victoria Azarenka, she was too strong for Yelena Ostapenko. The score there was 6-love and 6-3. On the men's tour, it is a Rotterdam Open that started, and it is Yannick Sinner that recently won the Australian Open, and he beat Botic van de Zandschulp. He beat him in the first round by 6-3 and 6-3. And it's also number 2 seed Andrei Rublev through to the next round. He beat Felix Auger-Aliassime. He's from Canada, and he beat him by 7-5 in the third set. On to cricket news, and it's South African men's and women teams at the moment playing test matches. It is the South African men's team playing against New Zealand. It was day 3 that is in Hamilton. South Africa scored 235 in their second innings, and so by that New Zealand need 267 to win in their second innings. At the moment, after day 3, it is New Zealand 40 for the loss of 1 wicket. The only wicket, Devon Conway, he fell in the last over of the day. Earlier in South Africa's 235, it was David Bedingham for South Africa that scored his maiden test century. He scored 110 runs. Then the South African women's team not doing well against Australia in a once of a 4-day test. They're playing in Perth. South Africa bowled out for 76 runs in their first inning, asked to bat, and it is Australia that's 251 for the loss of 5 wickets, a lead of 175 in control there in the test in Perth. And to close off today's international sports news, it's rugby news, and it is Six Nations rugby news. News from the England team is that Manu Tuolagi, he's playing centre. He's back from injury and he's up for selection when England play against Scotland. That is at Murrayfield. That is on the 24th of February. There's a bye weekend, this coming weekend in the Six Nations. So England travelled to Murrayfield. Manu Tuolagi, he had a groin injury and he came back from injury again. Other 2 games taking place on the 24th, it is Ireland that will host Wales, and on the Sunday the 25th it will be France that host Italy, and at the moment it is Ireland and England, the 2 unbeaten teams after 2 weeks of Six Nations rugby. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we'll talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
From the day you were born and welcomed, until your pensioner years on this earth? Your life is filled with changes and phases. What mattered the most at age 10 may be an unknown memory at 25. The heartbreak at 16 may be replaced with wedding bells at 27. The degree you've always wanted or starting your career business may come true at age 30. And the dream to own your own home may come to realization at age 50. Whatever stage you find yourself in, whatever matters right now, Standard Bank has what you need to bank like you. Choose your own path. Choose endless possibilities. Standard Bank, it can be.